Hi.
Welcome back to Money with Friends. For everyone joining us, this is a live recording, which is sort of doesn't make sense if we're live, but we're recording it live. Anyway, we're going to be recording 2 episodes of our podcast, Money with Friends. And I'm Bobbi Rebel. I'm here with Jamila Souffrant of Journey to Launch. My other podcast, by the way, is called Financial Grown Up. So please subscribe to both of those. You should be seeing us on YouTube, on Facebook, and also on Twitter, which is also new with our new streaming service. So if you are on those services, please say hi so that we know that it is working. And I'm looking down at the Twitter to see if it is working.
I'm actually trying to repost it. I'm reposting the live.
You see it?
Kind of. I saw the post, so I'm just going to repost it now. So I'm going to see if it works.
I'm not seeing it, but maybe I'm just not that good. Let's see.
Hi from YouTube.
Hi from YouTube. Okay, good. Hey, Mike. Okay. So now I'm looking to see if, okay, cool. Oh, there we are. Okay. I see. I'm going to retweet it, but hopefully the question is, did I retweet it? I think I retweeted it from Money with Friends. I want to be retweeting it from my account. Everyone out there that has tips for us, feel free. Let me see if I can figure out how to do this. Oh, I know why. Because I was learning to do something else earlier. I'm really working on my social media this fall, everyone. Okay, so I believe I've successfully retweeted it on my Bobbi Rebel account. So please follow Jamila on her Journey to Launch account and also Jamila Souffrant, and also me on my Bobbi Rebel account. And of course, at Money Friends Pod is there. And yay, okay, so hi, Evan, Tunisha, and Kelly on Facebook. Yay. And also Kelly. Mike, as we said, on YouTube. So we just need someone to chime in from Twitter so we know that you guys are seeing us there. While we're getting organized, by the way, I want to plug this book by my new virtual friend, Elizabeth Sigran. I think I'm mispronouncing her name, even though we practice saying it. I just interviewed her for next Tuesday's episode of the Financial Grown Up podcast. So definitely listen to that episode. She was also just on Good Morning America. This is an awesome book. So check out The Rocket Years. She's also a writer with Fast Company. Today, this is Jamila's final recording as a season 4 cast member. We've loved having you.
Oh, thank you. This was super fun to do. It's different for me. Like, I don't go live often, so I actually like doing this a bit to get my chomps, ready for doing more live content.
Are you going to be okay? So that's a teaser. So tell us a little bit while we're getting organized about the fall. Like, are you going to be doing more live content? What do you have planned?
Well, maybe. It's like on the long list of things I do for Journey to Launch and myself. But lots of great things planned for the next couple of months. I have kids, so this whole, as for everyone who knows already, this year has been just crazy. So I've been constantly having to readjust my schedule. I have 3 kids. And so 2 of them are kind of maybe going to school or part school and part homeschooling. So I feel like my work schedule obviously has been impacted because of that. So I'm trying actually to give myself a lot of grace. But you know me, Bobbi, like I tend to do a lot anyway, but I'm trying not to overdo it. So I'm to at least do what I'm doing, the podcast, which comes out every Wednesday, a new episode. And then I have some exciting projects. Hopefully I can share more about. We were just talking about my photo shoot that I did because I'm doing a whole new website. Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited about all those things upcoming.
Very cool. Oh, I didn't ask you before we went live. Just double check that your mic is coming in. I believe it is, but I get in trouble if I don't ask and double check. So guys, this is truly a behind the scenes. We are recording now, and these will be the episodes. We're recording a little bit early because the holiday weekend. So these are episodes that are going to go out next Tuesday and Wednesday. And what we're doing is that for the audio podcast, the computer is actually reading the actual microphone, not the microphone in the computer. And so it's always good to double check because that's something that I have messed up more times than you guys want to know. And by the way, that photo shoot, guys, you have to follow her feed just to see. So gorgeous. I mean, like the outfits. I mean, what went into that?
So
how long did you plan it for?
Well, it's so crazy. So if you follow me on Journey to Launch on Instagram or at Jamila Souffrant, that's kind of like my personal brand page. I posted reels, like kind of reels, those 15-second clips of the behind the scenes shots that we did. And so really what was supposed to happen is I was supposed to just get a brand new website. So I'm in the middle of a redesign. But then with that was, well, do you have pictures? And then the pictures that I have were from like 3-4 years ago. So it's like most of my pictures were with my longer hair, and it was just time for updated pictures. So then it became a project within a project to get updated pictures for the website. And I said, if I'm going to get pictures, I might as well do it right. So I did invest and hired a stylist. So all those outfits, I would have never had come up with that on my own. But Elsa, who was my stylist, did a wonderful job of selecting things that kind of went with my vibe and what I was wanting to portray. Got the photographer, makeup artist, and my sister. It was really cool because I'm going to have my sister start helping me with Journey to Launch things, my little sister. And so this was her first time like helping me on set. So she was my movement director because she's a dancer and assistant. So it was amazing.
Well, because you have all these like cool poses that were just awesome. And you can see that I wouldn't think of doing that photos. What seems for me, I would have felt very self-conscious, but you looked totally comfortable, and you can tell that in the photos, it's going to work.
I hope so. Well, what you see on social media right now, I even saved a story, the highlight feed on Jamila Souffrant of some even before the photo shoot, like things that led up to it. But that's just like the raw footage and images from the sidelines. So I can't wait to see the final pictures from the photographer.
Yeah, I think it's also important for people to know that these things don't just happen. They take a lot of work. People think that doing what you do, you just kind of like post on, you just like talk for half an hour and that's your podcast. And you just kind of like, post a little update and that's your social media. But it's a lot of work. It really is.
It's a lot of money, right? Like running a business, like all the little things that, whether it's like maintaining an email list, or doing a photo shoot and investing in the right people to help you with that. Like, they deserve to get paid. I paid my sister, right? How cool is this, Bobbi? She even negotiated her rate with me. So, it was really nice, to be able to afford to pay and invest in that way, knowing that it's going to help my business even more.
Yes. And it's always good if you're going to pay somebody, as it could seem weird at first, like, oh, I'm paying my kid, I'm paying my, sister or whatever. But if you're going to pay somebody anyway, why not, keep it in the family and pay them fairly? Of course. This whole friends and family rate, I mean, yes, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't get paid what you need to get paid. So it's a little bit tricky when people say that kind of stuff. But anyway, Okay, everyone. So we haven't gotten anyone from Twitter yet, but if you're seeing us on Twitter, please chime in and let us know that we are actually happening on Twitter. I think that we are. I do see a few people there. Okay, so let's tape some podcasts. I'm going to go click record on the backup recording. And Jamila, can you just count to 10 so I can see that you're connected there?
Sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay, looks good. Let's hope for the best because I have messed this up in the past. But we have backups upon backups upon backups, my friends. So, which is what you need with someone that is used to doing the on-camera stuff, but not all the technical stuff. And now Joe Salcy high-talked me into all of that. Okay, so this is the episode that's going to air on Tuesday, September 9th. So this is what they meant by financial independence. Harry and Meghan just inked a massive deal with Netflix. We'll talk about it with Journey to Launch's Jamila Souffrant. It is Tuesday, September 9th. Let's talk money with friends. Welcome to the Money with Friends podcast. I am certified financial planner, Bobbi Rebell, host of the Financial Grown Up podcast, coming to you from my very grown up kitchen. Wait, let's just pause for a minute.
Yeah, I have to close.
Is there a background there?
Someone just started. Okay. Someone's not mowing the lawn, so I have to close the door.
Let's go pause for that. Go do that. I feel like that, guys. And I was like, is it my imagination? Yes, this is truly working from home during the time of coronavirus. when anything can happen. I'm glad I stopped though. Okay.
Okay. Is it better?
Yes, much better. Okay.
Sorry.
All right. This is take 2 for the Harry and Meghan show that's going to air on Tuesday. So this is what they meant by financial independence. Harry and Meghan just inked a massive deal with Netflix. We'll talk about it with Journey to Launch's Jamila Souffrant. It is Tuesday, September 9th. Let's talk money with friends. Welcome to the Money with Friends podcast. I am certified financial planner, Bobbi Rebel, host of the Financial Grown Up podcast, coming to you from my very grown up kitchen in New York City.
And hi, I'm Jamila Souffrant of Journey to Launch, coming to you from Brooklyn, New York.
This is a money news show that includes commentary on recent headlines and stories with thought leaders from across the financial landscape, like Journey to Launch podcast host Jamila Souffrant. We break those stories down into what matters to you, our friends, and we leave you with a takeaway to make it your own. This episode of Money with Friends is sponsored by NordPass. Let the NordPass password manager remember all your complex logins, autofill online forms, and generate strong passwords stress-free. I'm stressing that, stress-free. It's only $2.50 a month. Plus, you get an additional month free with your 2-year subscription. You get 50% off. Go to nordpass.com/MWF or use the code MWF. You will not be sorry because, as our regular listeners know, I have been hacked because my passwords were all the same. So don't be me. All right, Jamila. So nice to see you again. How has your last month been? You've been busy with a big glamorous photo shoot.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Bobbi. So it's been a busy summer with all the kids being home and you know how that is with this pandemic, but really fun. So I just shot a photo shoot for updated photos for Journey to Launch and the brand. And if you follow me on at Journey to Launch on Instagram or Jamila Souffrant on Instagram, you can get a peek of the pictures that we shot. So it was really fun doing that. And I can't wait to get the new website up and get the pictures back.
I can't wait to see it. Perfect project for the fall. In the meantime, you know, there's going to be a project that the Royals are going to be working on this fall. Let's see which one of our money friends is going to bring us into that headline today.
Sure. So Prince Harry and Meghan Markle signed Netflix deal. This is by Rebecca Rubin.
This is in Variety. By the way, I think this is in Variety. That's my fault.
Okay, it's from Variety. All right. So Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have set their sights on streaming. The royal couple has signed a deal with Netflix. Variety has confirmed. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex, who moved to California earlier this year, have been pitching movies and TV plans around Hollywood. Under their new multi-year deal at Netflix, the couple will make documentaries, feature films, scripted television shows, and children's series. Our lives, both independent of each other and as a couple, have allowed us to understand the power of the human spirit of courage, resilience, and the need for connection, Meghan and Harry said in a statement. Through our work with diverse communities and their environments to shining a light on people and causes around the world, our focus will be on creating content that informs but also gives hope. The couple will be focused on creating a wide variety of series about stories and issues that are close to their hearts, such as those that their newly formed nonprofit Archwell will highlight. Several projects are already in development, including a nature docuseries and an animated series centered on inspirational women. As new parents, making inspirational family programming is also important to us, as in powerful storytelling through a truthful and relatable lens, they said. We are pleased to work with Ted and the team at Netflix, whose unprecedented reach will help us share impactful content that unlocks action. The Duke and Duchess want to highlight diverse voices in front of the camera and behind, and are committed to diverse hiring practices for key roles at their production company, according to a source familiar with the deal.
Netflix has attracted a long list of top talent in recent years, including Barack and Michelle Obama, Shonda Rhimes, and Ryan Murphy. The streamer shelled out hundreds of millions to work with the creative minds behind smash hits like Grey's Anatomy and Glee, but it's unclear how much Harry and Meghan's agreement is worth. Markle, who previously starred in the legal drama Suits, briefly returned to Hollywood to narrate the Disney Plus documentary Elephants. The nonfiction film benefited Elephants Without Borders, an organization that protects wildlife in Botswana, but sources stress that she has no plans to return to acting. Harry recently worked with the filmmakers of Netflix's documentary Rising Phoenix, a well-reviewed feature that takes a look at the global impact of the Paralympic Games. Earlier this year, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex announced their plans to step back as senior members of the royal family and become financially independent. The couple has been living in Los Angeles since March and recently purchased a $14.7 million home in the affluent town of Montecito. All right, gut reaction to this, my friend.
So I am all for this. I'm excited for them. I think it's amazing the fact that, at one point they could have just stayed to be the faces, the pretty faces and just a talent. And now they're taking the reins back. They're taking control and ownership of, production company and are able to now be behind the scenes, which I think is even more powerful than being in front. I mean, both roles are important, but I love this idea of creating and owning something and having more of a say. Because that's why they stepped away from the life that they had before. They wanted more control. And now they have a lot of control in being able to present stories and ideas to the world. So I love it.
I would agree with everything you said. I also loved picking this piece because I think there's a lot of things we can all relate to. And that is that they were sort of born into this role where they would forever effectively be staff members, employees, where they would be paid, granted probably a huge sum of money, but at the end of the day, they were assigned duties to do, and they would have to fulfill their duties. Could they have pet projects? I'm sure they could, but they were expected to do that. And by the way, the odds of ever reaching the top of the, royal corporation, the firm, whatever you want to call it, are basically zero. So they have no possibility of real promotion. They have no possibility of control because Harry is whatever in line for the throne. So in a way, even though it seems like this fairy tale, they were sort of trapped in this family business where, because of the order of birth, they had no possibility of ever really rising and having control. They were forever destined to be, Indians, not chiefs, employees, not the top, whatever analogy you want to give it. And by doing this, which is very brave in many ways, I mean, it's truly unprecedented, they are setting their own path. And it is setting themselves up for so much criticism. I mean, there's all these different books out and not out yet that are painting them, some in positive light, some in negative light. And they did that. They chose to do that knowing that they would catch a lot of flack, knowing there would be so many eye rolls. I mean, we talked earlier on this show when they did this initially and moved away from the royal family about financial independence. And there was a lot of snarkiness because it's like, well, financial independence, but they're spending millions and they have millions. Well, yeah, but they also could have just stayed with that. They're choosing to do something productive that is risky within their world, but nevertheless, they are setting themselves up for a lot of criticism.
Yeah, I'm so glad you just made that just comparison, because in my Journey to Launch, I talk about financial freedom and independence, and part of that requires taking risk, right? And so, like, even myself, like, I left what someone would have said is like a safe, job, the corporate world, where I was earning a lot of money, but I wasn't completely happy. I wanted more control over my time. I wanted that autonomy. And so I relate this to, even if, you can't necessarily relate to all the money and fame that they have in your own life, taking risk, right? Like leaving something safe to do something different, to follow, your whatever path is in front of you that feels good, that, you feels aligned with what your strengths are and the freedom that you want. Like, sometimes it's the payoff is so much bigger than you could have ever expected, right? Some people would have been like, why are you leaving that safe cushion of the royal family and that, that salary or whatever they were given at that point? And like, what are you going to do now? And it's just like, look, they seem to now be building an even better life for themselves. So I think we, as normal, everyday people, can relate that to our own lives with the risks that we are thinking about taking. Like, we'll miss all the shots we don't take. So we might as well take some shots, right?
I totally agree. And we have with us, we're recording this live on Facebook. We have with us Alexis. Do you want to grab that comment?
Yes. Okay. So Alexis says, if they want to use their platform to create projects featuring inspiring women and stories of resilience, I'm all for it. Same here.
Yeah. So I love that support. Look, we did ask our Instagram audience, which, by the way, I hope you're all following us at Money Friends Pod. We did say, are you more likely to watch a Netflix show because the celebrities connected to it? I was a little disappointed, I have to say. Well, I don't know. I have conflicted feelings about what people said. So we said, are you more likely to watch a Netflix show because a celebrity is connected to it? So I'm putting you on the spot, Jamila. The answers were more likely or don't care. What do you think people said?
I think more likely.
See, that's what I would thought to think too. And I think that's the true answer. People didn't want to say that. I think people want to say don't care. And it was, we had about 50 people vote in a 2-hour period. That's a lot. That's a lot of people for us. We just threw it up there very, very much before the show. So this did, there's a bunch of people voted, and the vast majority, 80%, said they don't care. I think they do, and they don't want to say it. I don't know.
So
what do you think? Are people being honest?
Here's the thing. I think so. I said that because I was trying to put myself in other people's shoes. And so that's why I said they would like want to watch it with a celebrity. But honestly, I personally don't care if a celebrity is attached to a show. Like I rather watch everyday people things that I can more relate to. Not that, I can't relate to some
but like, don't you, if you hear something's produced by like Beyonce or Michelle Obama, which are, recent things have come out that come top of mind, or even like, I remember Maria Shriver produced something on Alzheimer's. I mean, I am drawn to those. Maybe it's because you hear about them more because they're celebrities.
Well, yeah, they get more press. And so that's why, I don't think it's like even playing field for like the people who don't have that kind of name and backing. But I just think about like the recent, like really popular things that have been on Netflix recently. One of them was Selling Sunset. I don't know if you watched that. I kind of got addicted.
I have not watched it. I'm aware of it because it seems to think I should watch it because they push it to me all the time. So maybe I'm supposed to, but I haven't watched it yet. But tell me about it.
So Selling Sunset, they're all about these real estate agents in California selling California real estate, tons of money, and then their personal lives, like what that's like. None of them were celebrities before this that I know of. And the show is doing so well. And so I don't know, I feel like even in the day of age of just like personal finance, right? Like I think people want to hear from people like them. So again, I think celebrity and celebrity backed things are great because you have the press, you have the money to put things together the right way. But I also think people do really like kind of like the more down to earth, kind of like, how does this person relate to me kind of stories.
Yeah, I do get that. Let's get in one more comment from Instagram, one more comment from Facebook. You grab the Facebook one. Okay,
so this is from Kelly. She says, I'm a rational person, but she can't get enough of the royal information.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. So the numbers were not disclosed from what we don't really necessarily know what exactly Netflix paid for them. So it's kind of a mystery. I'm kind of looking. I thought I had some of the deals. I mean, they've made big deals that have been like hundreds of millions of dollars with other people that have been huge. Oh, here it is. They reportedly paid Blackish creator Kenya Barris $100 million, Grey's Anatomy creator Shonda Rhimes $150 million, and then Game of Thrones creators David Benioff and Dan Weiss $200 million for multi-year contracts. So this is serious cash that we're talking about. We don't know, and maybe knowing the royals, maybe they'll disclose if they're going to give a large chunk of that to charity. Because I do believe it's true that the voiceover that Meghan did for the elephant movie was given to charity to support elephants. So we don't know, but they have a right to keep some of the money too. Like it's okay if you earn the money, you don't have to give it away. They can earn their own money, especially if we give them trouble for the fact that they take all the royal money. If they're going to be financially independent, they earn this money and they negotiate the contract, right?
No, I think this is great. And as you were saying the numbers, I'm like, I kind of want to dig deep. I want to know like how much has to be allocated to production costs. Do they get to decide where everything goes? Like the salaries of the people in the production company? Like what's the breakdown? I'm so curious of the number breakdown behind the scene.
Yeah. And by the way, I know I said we were doing one last Facebook, but I do want to get in Alexis just saying that she thinks that we're right. People answer polls with what they think they should do, not necessarily what they actually do. And then on Instagram, we have Lokar rooting for them all the way. They're poster children for taking a risk to follow your guts. Like, no matter how critical some people are of them, like they took a risk. Come on. Like they just like left the country. They left the family business in the country. You got to give them some credit for that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, look, I'm never one of those people where it's just like, oh, they're rich or they had an advantage, so I'm going to discount anything they do after that. Like I feel like, hey, listen, I'm just taking notes because I'm sure I can learn something from your story. So I don't know. I think it's cool that they were able to do this.
We're going to be back with our takeaways in just a minute, but I want to give you guys a takeaway about protecting your data, because NordPass is a great way to do that. We love the fact that they sponsor Money with Friends. I don't know about you, but I can never remember my password. So what I've done in the past is what a lot of people do. I made a simple one that I could remember, and then I pretty much used it everywhere. That was a really bad idea. I got hacked. They got into my email, and yeah, I got a lot of spam. That's annoying. And by the way, it's still happening. But I also got some unwelcome charges. I had to have my credit card canceled twice. Twice I had to cancel this credit card. It's been a nightmare. Thank God we now have NordPass. So you can get better passwords with their password manager. It remembers all your complex logins, autofill online forms with it. You can generate much stronger passwords, and it's so stress-free. It's just $2.50 a month, and you get an additional month free and 50% off if you get a 2-year subscription. Use the code MWF. You can also go to nordpass.com/MWF. You guys, check it out. Do not be like me. Do not get hacked. Get good passwords. Get a better system to remember them all through NordPass, nordpass.com/MWF, or use the code MWF. Let's get to our takeaways, my friend.
Okay.
Go for it.
My takeaway from this is that great job to Harry and Meghan for getting this deal together, showing us what it's like to take risk. Also, love that they are able now to produce stories and content that is going to be just inspiring and putting people of color, it seems like, and diverse people more on the forefront, and paying people behind the scenes. Like, I love that they now can give more opportunities to others. So with their position of privilege, they're able to pass that privilege down or help others. So I love that.
And I like the fact that you point out that they're paying other people because of money. I mean, it sounds like that money is going to a production company that they set up. So it's not like they're just going to pocket what their number is. That money will be used, the implication is, to create jobs for people in all this production. So when someone says they signed, whatever, we know what other people signed, so I don't want to imply what they signed. But when you get these huge numbers, it's not like the people are pocketing that. That is for their production company to hire people and to produce this. So they will, we presume, be paying other people, creating jobs, and presenting different points of view of topics that need more talking about. Here's my takeaway.
Bobbi,
we are all born into... What? Go ahead.
No, I was going to say they need to come to us. We need to produce a show about money with them.
Well, you know what? That is an excellent idea. So, yes, we're gonna use our extensive web of contacts to get in touch with the royals. Okay, so this is what I was going to say. We are all born into something. Harry and Meghan each were born into very different circumstances, but in the end, we have to find our own way. This world is familiar to both of them, Hollywood, I should say. Let's not forget that Meghan grew up on TV sets where her dad worked in production, and of course, Harry's mom's work. Spreading the word about those in need is legendary. Looking forward to see what they come up with and what we can all learn about forging our own path, leveraging our own humble, or not so humble, in Harry's case, beginnings. Jamila, tell us where people can find out more about you and all of your projects this fall.
Sure. So you can listen to the Journey to Launch podcast wherever you're listening to this podcast when this comes out, or go to journeytolaunch.com, search Journey to Launch on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, even YouTube, you can find it. And then follow me on all social media. I'm at Journey to Launch. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I mostly hang out on Instagram, and that's where you can actually see some behind the scenes of the photo shoot that we talked about earlier.
Yes, this is the best. I love your social media is so spot on. I am taking notes from it because I'm going to step up my social media this fall. But everyone, follow Jamila. It is awesome. All right. If you want to find out more about Jamila, go to our website, moneywithfriendspodcast.com, and click on Thought Leaders. You can also read about the rest of our cast. And if you want links to the stories that we talked about today, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's where you will find the links to these articles. Just go to YouTube and search for Money with Friends. You can also, of course, follow us on Instagram. Stay close to the stories, and you can participate in our questions, polls, and quizzes. And our Twitter is also at Money Friends Pod. So thank you, Jamila. We'll see you back tomorrow. We're going to be talking about 5 money moves to make right now to overcome our biggest financial worries. So thank you.
Thank you for having me, Bobbi.
We'll see everyone tomorrow. That was a good show. I think we went a little long, but it was a really good show. And thank you
Yeah.
guys for your participation.
It's so much going on right now. I'm telling you, like the person mowing the lawn, then the kids just came in. It's just like so much happening.
It's happening here too. I'm not really sure what's going on, but there's a lot of movement just out of my sight range. But we're going to do one more 15-minute show. I don't know how long that was, but feel free to tell us to wrap if you see us getting to 13 minutes, because I sometimes get so involved in what we're talking about that I forget to watch the time. But we're going to do one more 15-minute show, and this is the show that's going to air on Wednesday, September 9th. Did I say Tuesday, September 9th for this show? I think I might have said the wrong day. I think I might have. So whoopsies. Oh, well, that's what editing is. I think I did that. Anyway, this is what happens. Okay. We are multitasking moms here, trying to do it all. This is a show for Wednesday, September 9th. 5 money moves to make right now to overcome your biggest financial worries. We're going to talk about it with Journey to Launch's Jamila Souffrant. It is Wednesday, September 9th. Let's talk money with friends. Welcome to the Money with Friends podcast. I am certified financial planner, Bobbi Rebell, host of the Financial Grown Up podcast, coming to you from my very grown up kitchen in New York City.
And I'm Jamila Souffrant of the Journey to Launch podcast and brand, coming to you from Brooklyn, New York.
This is the Money News Show that includes commentary on recent headlines and stories with thought leaders from across the financial landscape. Like top-rated podcast host Jamila Souffrant of Journey to Launch, we break those stories down into what matters to you, our friends, and we leave you with a takeaway to make it your own. And Jamila, this is your final recording as a regular cast member of Money to Launch Season 4. Thank you so much for all you've done. And you've been so wonderful to have on the show.
Thank you so much for having me and for dealing with all the craziness that happens on my side of the video and like audio, because there's always a lot going on on my side of things.
But you always stay calm, cool, and collected. And the truth is that's what's happening with all of us, whether you're recording a podcast or you're trying to do your Zoom calls with work, or you're trying now as we move into fall. I mean, my son is starting school. Your kids are starting school. We don't know what's going to be happening. It's just starting right now, but it's going to be really complicated managing all these different conflicting responsibilities that we have and that our children have. So I feel like that's just, who we all are right now. I mean, I know even as we record this, I see my dog is kind of walking around. My husband's really trying to be extremely quiet, but I think there's something going on. I'm not even sure. He may have walked out for a minute. Maybe he's going out to get coffee. I'm not sure. But there's a lot of activity in the house just out of the frame of the video.
Yeah,
so
it's crazy.
We're all going through this.
Yeah, I mean, so I know people can relate to like just whether, you have a podcast or not, just living real life, that there's just a lot that you're juggling.
Exactly. And no doubt right outside of the frame of Jamila's camera is probably your 3 beautiful children waiting, yeah. Like, Mom, are you almost done? Anyway, on that note, let's see which one of our friends is going to bring us into the headline.
Okay. So right. Do you want me to say the headline?
Yes. Say the headline and also who wrote it and where it is, because those are the things that I often forget.
Right. Got it. All right. So headline reads, 5 money moves to make right now to overcome your biggest financial worries by Harry-Ann Renzulli in Newsweek. Hopefully I said your name right, Harry-Ann. Okay. So 8 out of 10 Americans have at least one big worry about their financial future due to the pandemic, according to a new nationally representative survey by Newsweek and LendingTree. Among their greatest fears, not being able to retire on time, if at all now, not being able to find or keep a job that pays well, and how long will it take them to dig out of the financial hole the pandemic and resulting economic downturn has put them in. Whether you've already been laid off or anticipate you could be soon, having a strategy for how you'll cover costs if you lose your job helps restore some semblance of control over an otherwise out of control situation. Step 1, draw up a pandemic budget, pare down to your essential monthly expenses so you know the amount that's actually crucial to cover. Apps like Mint or You Need a Budget can help. Next, see how much you'll get from your state's unemployment insurance program at careeronestop.org. National average is about $370 a week. Calculate how long your emergency savings will carry you and brainstorm freelance gigs that can help supplement those benefits. Pay for essential expenses with your credit card if you must, but avoid cash advances, which carry rates at averaging 24%. So carry a strong umbrella. Aim to set aside enough money to cover 3 to 6 months of your living expenses, which you should keep in an FDIC insured bank account that you can easily tap without incurring fees.
Cast a wide net. Hiring isn't dead. People are getting new jobs every day, even in a pandemic. But the search process is a lot harder, says Lindsay Pollock, author of Recalculating, Navigate Your Career Through the Changing World of Work. Your best strategy? First, tell everyone you know that you're looking. Sometimes people are embarrassed about losing their job or possibly being laid off, but people want to help others during this pandemic. Check out LinkedIn's constantly updating #Hiring Now page and its coronavirus resource hub, which has special offers on courses and tips for beefing up your resume. Or if you're a new grad, check out Handshake, joinhandshake.com, and customize your response when you follow up on any listing, tweaking your resume and cover letter to mirror the language the company uses and research the business so you can speak directly to how your skill set is a perfect fit. Don't give up on retirement. The top long-term worry among survey respondents was not being able to retire on time, if at all. So try to keep one eye on that future prize, even as you focus on making it through the current financial chaos. And then the final one is make room for joy in your budget. While resizing your spending to better meet your new income or savings goals may be necessary, it is also important to cut yourself a little slack. Include a few things that make you happy in your new pandemic budget. So much here. What stands out most, Jamila, here?
Yeah, so I mean, this is the state of things right now. And I think these are actually really good suggestions for people, and I think really getting a handle on your essential expenses for everyone is key, because that's really what it's going to take for you to actually live without further putting yourself in a hole if you can avoid it. And so it shows you what you can cut back or take out for the meantime while you're figuring things out. So I love all the actual practical tips they give here.
Yeah, I also like the fact that point out that you should actually tell people that you are looking, and that, you should of course do it if you're laid off and actually unemployed, but it's also okay through and it's a little bit nuanced and tricky, but if you're looking and you're still working, maybe you fear that your job could be eliminated, it's okay to quietly tell people. And even within your company, I have one of my girlfriends works for a big company, and for obvious reasons, she thought that her division might be downsized. It just makes sense the way the business world has gone. And what she did is she was proactive within the company. She applied for multiple jobs and she was able to land a new job within the company that she's now starting in 2 weeks. So, and she's so excited about it because she basically is pivoting within the company. So it's familiar. She's not having that interruption, but her skills are going to be used in a whole different way. And it's like getting a whole fresh kind of new career within the safety of her company. So even though people think, oh, the pandemic is happening, I have to just hunker down. Not necessarily. Don't be afraid. Even if your area is not being eliminated, look within your company. Are there different things that you could do that might be good opportunities, maybe that pay more or have more growth within your company? And of course, if you aren't happy in your company, or maybe you're in an industry that is growing and, because of the pandemic, maybe quietly talk to people about leaving. You have to be discreet if you're in a job, but it's okay to look. You shouldn't feel you can't look, even if you're employed.
I totally agree. And this is big, coming back to your net worth, your people around you, the people in your connections or the connections you want to make. That's super important in times like these, where even if no one can immediately refer you or that has a job for you, but just keeping those connections open are key, because you just never know. And I think one of the things too is put your interest out there. Like you said, Bobbi, regardless, is there something that you're good at? They mentioned looking at some freelance work. So whatever your line of your field of business is and your specialty is there a way that you can do something on the side to earn extra money or transition? How can you use those skills to transition maybe, or look at what the next phase of your career can be, even in times like this? And then also keep your network informed about your interests, because you never know who they know.
Absolutely. And it's important that you say the side hustle, because that is a almost risk-free way to give you more security and take away this anxiety, the financial worries that we're talking about. Because if something happens to your primary job, maybe, I mean, a lot of people that didn't lose their jobs maybe had to take a pay cut. They didn't get bonuses they were counting on. They're not getting raises. If you have that side hustle, number one, you're just going to be hopefully busier in a positive way, but you'll be busier, but you'll hopefully have another income stream. And so you won't be as dependent on your primary job, even if you don't really want to do this hustle full time. You know, you have it. Even if it's not going to replace your income fully, it's something that if you had to rely on it, it's something that at least is a stake in the ground, and you're not starting from scratch in a panic.
I totally agree. I'm all about side hustles and using your talents to hopefully earn you more money. So yes, all yes.
The other thing they talk about here that I think is really important is just understanding how different resources work. So they talk about credit cards, for example, and while the interest rate on charges that you make on your credit card could be very high, cash advances can actually be more expensive. So if you're in a pickle and you need to get cash, it's basically saying, don't go there. Don't go to your credit cards for a cash advance.
Yeah. I mean, this is one of those things where so much of the advice is great advice, right? And I like to say too, like, don't feel bad. Like if you can't, like for a lot of people saving 3 to 6 months of expenses, like that's what they would have or should have been doing before all this hit. And so to tell them to do that now, it's like, really, like I can't, I'm just trying to survive right now. So I'm all about, listen, this too shall pass. We don't know how long it will take. But I'm all about right now surviving right now. And so if you can't save because you literally are pinching pennies, then that's the situation. Like surviving is thriving to me at this moment. But when it comes to then accessing cash, like let's just say you really are like, you're needing like help. That's where we're looking at your expenses and really like what can be cut out or what can you cut back so that you don't have to go to the credit card. But if you do, I mean, if the choice is between feeding your family for those people who have to make this choice and not using your credit card, you should feed your family and use the credit card, right? Like,
thank you for saying that.
So,
exactly. And no judging people. I mean, we all, by the way, felt like everyone's had their moment of financial freak out. So you are not alone, and this too shall pass. And yes, feed your family. If you must do something that's, quote, not a great financial move, yeah.
Wait, and I want to like do like a little, I don't know, asterisk, feed your family. But like, this is more like, cause you need to go to the grocery store and you have a list and they need to eat. Not like, oh, well, like I'm just going to like go now to the restaurant. and I need to feed my family, like there are levels to what we're saying. If you are really trying to like survive.
Right. Exactly. And by the way, we did post on our Instagram channel, which I hope everyone is following at Money Friends Pod. We did post, we are going to be talking about money moves to make right now to overcome financial worries. I didn't actually tell you, but I did text you some answers. I don't know if you see them. We put this show together very quickly sometimes. So I don't know if you have in your texters. If not, I'll keep talking. Oh, good. So go share some of the answers that our friends said.
Yeah. Some of the responses was, one seems to be in another language, but one says, to reach my retirement age and still be obligated to work based on necessity instead of choice. That was one answer.
Yeah. Yes, that's a really good one.
Long-term security. Yeah, there are a bunch.
Yeah, mm-hmm. These are things that are worrying our audience right now.
Right. Someone said our bubble market, like are we in a bubble market? And then someone else said student loans. She's paying 6.8% on federal loans. Mortgage rates are half of that. Yeah,
exactly. Well, and people can refinance their student loans, but it's important to know what kind of student loan you have, because if you have a federal student loan, there are a lot of advantages to that. So before you refinance that to a private loan, just make sure you know what the terms are and make sure that it makes sense. It often does. It often is a really smart move to refinance your loans. Just understand what different things you might be losing in the process. But it's often a very good thing if you can get a lower rate, especially when you look at that difference that our listener is pointing out. That is a huge difference.
Right.
Yeah. So people, there's a lot of worries right now going on with our friends. Before we wrap and go to our takeaways, we want to just mention the last thing is so important about joy. What do you put in your budget that brings you joy, Jamila?
Oh my gosh. So for us, buying back my time brings me joy. So we've actually gotten someone to help with the house, like cleaning the house lately. So that's been giving me a lot of joy. I'm actually putting in my budget, I want to buy one of those like iRobot Roomba devices that go around and
Ooh,
clean. So like, I know I'm
yeah.
talking more about like, sometimes I feel like with women, I don't know, maybe it's just me or mom. Sometimes the things that bring us joy still like help everyone else, like the whole house. It's not like super like me, which I'm fine with. But like, those are the things, like anything that's going to help me manage my time and stress levels, I'm all about. And then also still slipping in time with friends. So I know we're in a pandemic, but like safely social distancing, like going, to an outdoor restaurant with someone that I haven't seen or I want to catch up with, or even my husband, like that brings me joy. That allows me to keep going. So I'm all for budgeting for that.
I think that's so important. And that's something so many of us forget because having aid seems to be such a luxury. And it is. It is absolutely a luxury when people are having trouble, as we discussed earlier, literally feeding their families. That said, I wouldn't actually, let me take back. I don't know if it's a luxury so much as a discretionary. You could clean your house yourself. And of course, we all do at times. I don't do it very well, but it is allowing you to have that time with your family and to make you maybe a wife and mother friend because you don't have that on your to-do list hanging over you. And therefore you have the time to make that call at 9 o'clock at night. You're not rushing to clean things at 9 o'clock at night after you've had an exhausting day and put your 3 kids down. And this way you're free to Zoom call with your friend or spend time with your husband. So we shouldn't judge that. I think it's actually a really good thing that we should give ourselves permission to do more.
Right. And, I always like to just be realistic because I know like some people who are listening are not in the position to do that, which is fine. I wasn't in the position, to do that, or it didn't make sense like when I was younger to need someone to do that. But I feel like there are levels to this. So maybe right now that's not something you can do, maybe because your focus is on something else that you need more importantly, and that's fine. But it can be something possibly in the future that you work towards, right? And so everything is relative. So if that joy is that coffee, like, the Starbucks, right? Like you're like, you know what, I enjoy this and it brings me joy, I'm going to budget for it, then do that. If it's going to like put you in a better mindset, put you in a place that you feel that you can keep going throughout these times, because we need to find joy now.
So well said. We're going to get to our takeaways in just a moment. But first, it is a cautious time for businesses across America. Uncertainty flavors every decision. Every financial commitment is vetted. Now, your next important hire is more crucial than ever, and Indeed is here to help. Indeed.com is the #1 job site in the world because Indeed gets you the best people fast. Unlike other sites, Indeed gives you full control and payment flexibility over your hiring. You only pay need. You can pause your account at any time, and there are no long-term contracts. Plus, Indeed provides powerful tools to make your search that much easier, like sponsored jobs, which are shown to be 3.5 times more likely to result in a hire. With 73% of online job seekers visiting Indeed each month, Indeed is going to get you the important hire you need, just like they have for over 3 million businesses. So right now, Indeed is offering our Money with Friends listeners a free $75 credit to boost your job post, which means more quality candidates will see it fast. Try Indeed out with a free $75 credit at Indeed.com/MWF. This is their best offer available anywhere. Go right now to Indeed.com/MWF. And by the way, terms and conditions apply, and this offer is only valid through September 30th. Let's do our takeaways. My friend, Jamila, go for it.
Okay, so takeaway for me here is, again, if you're concerned now, then you're not alone. This is just these times are unprecedented. Like, we've never experienced all the things happening at once before. They've happened maybe in pockets, but not now. And certainly most of us haven't experienced it. And so this is like uncharted territory. And so to feel anxious or worried, like, is totally normal. I always say, if you can find the networks, like your friend or your family member may be feeling the same thing. And so sharing and talking about it may help. And, while I want people to share so that way they can find community where they are, I also think it's also about finding solutions. So if you feel like you are in a position right now where it's like, all right, I need to learn more about my investing, retirement, and saving and my income expenses, like there are so many resources right now that allow you to do that for free online. I know the internet can have too many sometimes and confuses people, but literally, like, at the minimum, just get a handle of your expenses, right? Like, that's the biggest thing in your income. And so take your time to do that. And then I think checking out this article more for some of the other tips would be really, really helpful.
Very well said. And by the way, your website is a great resource for so many other things that you can do to better your entire financial life, including your career. And my takeaway, and you mentioned it so well, is that, I wanted to point out, first of all, we only read select parts of some of the articles because they are very long. So we are posting them for you, not only on our website, Money with Friends podcast, as we always have, but we are now posting it on our YouTube page. So if you go to YouTube and search for Money with Friends podcast, just Money with Friends, you'll find our page. And if you find the episode, which you can find just by looking at the headlines, in that it will have the links to the stories that we talk about. And so you can read these directly and from there get more information about these different resources. And the other thing that I wanted to point out is that even if you aren't feeling anxious, and this is very similar to what you said, reach out. Odds are someone that you care about is anxious and is really worried and maybe having a tougher time than they are letting on. So talk to people, communicate, and this way maybe you can give them some of the tips that you've learned on this show and through Jamila's resources and through the article that you can get on our YouTube page, Money with Friends, gotta plug it. Share with everybody. Share and help your friends.
Yeah, I love that.
And we love you. Thank you so much for being with us. This has been a wonderful season with you. What are your takeaways from the show?
I think this was great. Thanks for having me. It was amazing. Again, I think this whole live experience for those who are watching this live has been great for me. It's all right, Jamila, you can do more live things on your social channels too. But it was great. It was great. I really enjoyed it.
Well, we loved having you. Where can people learn more about you and keep in touch with you?
Yeah, so I'm on all social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Journey to Launch. And then, of course, I have the podcast. So check out the podcast, over 1.7 million downloads. We're pushing our 1.8 million download mark. So check it out. New episodes come out every Wednesday. And then if you want to get a quick jumpstart guide, which podcast episodes to listen to, my definition of financial independence and the different stages to reach them, check out the Journey or Jumpstart Guide. If you text launch to 33777, you'll get the download. So
love all that.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Let me just say it one more time because I know I just said that fast. So text launch to 33777 and then you'll get the Journey or Jumpstart Guide.
Which is awesome. 2 million downloads coming soon, no doubt, and more to come. We just adore you. Thank you so much for being part of this. Everyone, please stay in touch with Jamila. Stay in touch with us. We'll be revealing the new season of co-hosts soon. But in the meantime, make sure you're following her and make sure you're following us on Instagram and Twitter at Money Friends Pod. And of course, we're growing our YouTube channel. That's where we're putting the links to our stories. So make sure that you are subscribed to our YouTube channel go on YouTube and just search for Money with Friends. Bye, everyone. Joe will be here tomorrow.
Bye.
Holding back that cough. Thank you to our live Facebook audience. You guys are wonderful as always. Sorry, Alexis, we didn't get in your last comment, but we were running late.
Yeah, Alexis, great job being engaged.
Get in everything. But you guys are awesome, and I hope that you enjoy being part of this. We're figuring out what times are best. We may be doing more early morning ones next season. We're kind of figuring out what works. A lot of people have been requesting that. Joe and I did an early morning one yesterday at 7:30 a.m. and people were really happy that they didn't have to, because they couldn't do it during their workday. So they did it before their workday. So be in touch and let us know, what are the optimal times. You can just post right below this on Facebook, Instagram, whatever. Even on Twitter, you can post, what time would be good for you, as much as we have flexibility to schedule. So, Jamila, you want to say any goodbyes to our Facebook audience?
Yeah, so it was so great, meeting the Money with Friends family and the Second Benjamins family. So that was pretty cool. So it was great. Thanks so much for being so welcoming.
Well, we loved having you. Everyone, like I said, Joe will be back tomorrow. And thank you, Jamila. We're going to say goodbye.
Bye.